Yeah.
We are flying high with the birds. We got the Armenian Hammer. Hey, how's it going?
Hi, guys.
We got Jimmy Bellucci. I'll call you by your name instead of what
There you
everybody
go.
likes to call you.
What's up, boys? What's going on?
And I'm Will. The Arm and Hammer is exhausted today. He can't get up for Dallas week. Could you guys believe that?
You must be really exhausted.
He
Dallas
must
week.
be really exhausted. Exactly. It's Dallas week. He's not fired up. I mean, I'm ready to go. I just went out to dinner with my wife. We had a nice Christmas dinner. My cousin somehow surprised us even working there. I didn't even know he worked there. Well, he hooked me up. I'm ready to roll. So let's talk about last week. So Eagles win 25-20 against the Bears. Jalen Hurts had a little bit of an up and down week. He went 22 for 37, 315 yards for 2 picks. So let's just talk about it. How do you guys think Hurts looked this week?
They found another way to win an ugly game, which is, give them credit. And the defense, what they have, 6 sacks?
Yeah, it's another week with enormous.
Hassan Reddick, he's like a monster.
Is it 18 sacks over the last 3 games? Is that right? Did you guys hear that?
Yeah, they averaged 6 sacks a week for the last 3 weeks, which is like unheard of. I mean,
Right.
We got a sneaky defense. Everybody's really talking about the 49ers defense, but the Eagles are like right there. Like They might be better than the 49ers defense.
Yep. And it's Dallas week and Christmas. Right?
Yeah. Yep, 425. It's amazing. I was looking at the line. It started as -1, and they keep going up. And I said, what the hell is going on? And then, obviously, everybody started talking about Hurts being hurt. But the thing is that, like my pick, I picked 48-10, I think, something like that, right? I should have looked at the weather forecast, because the thing is that it's already windy as is, right? Plus the temperature. And I don't think they really thought about it that much, because obviously, they didn't run as much as they're supposed to, and they were struggling in the beginning, and with the wind is going up, it was very hard for him to be accurate. So it was part of it is like the coaching staff that they should have planned, for running the game, for running all the time, not just throwing the ball.
Yeah, and we're gonna get back into Jalen Hurts, but let's really look at this game plan. So going into the game, you know that the Bears are the 27th ranked defense against the run. So they're pretty bad. And they're giving up 140 points a game. And Miles Sanders doesn't touch the ball until 26 minutes into the game. So you're looking at the end of the second quarter. And Hurts already has a bunch of carries, and they're actually designing runs for who's the third wide receiver?
Quez Watkins.
Quez Watkins had 2 designed runs before Miles Sanders even touched the ball. So what's going on? I mean, seriously, like what's going on?
It's been something we've been saying all year. They won't put the ball in Sanders' hand for some reason at times, and he's proved he's a weapon. He's a dominant player with his numbers this year, and I don't know why, but they don't want to give him the ball at times. It's mind-boggling.
I get the feeling that Sirianni doesn't really trust him that much, and I think after the fumble, I think whether it was a fumble or a misassignment, he was yelling at him on the sideline, and I don't know. There must be some kind of things going on between the two. And I'll be really shocked if they give him a big contract for next year for him to be back.
Yeah. I don't think he's back next year. I think someone's going to pay him.
It really doesn't make sense to me though, because you look at Sanders this year. He's already reached 1,000 yards. He hasn't fumbled one time this year until this game, which was on like kind of a bang play where he caught the ball was stripped right away. I mean, he's been pretty secure, much better this year than he's been throughout his career with the Eagles, because he usually puts the ball on the ground.
See, the
So
thing is that it goes back to the like what people are saying. Is it the individual or is the team, right? Is it because it's really good running back, or is it because we have one of the best line out there? And I guess we'll find out this Saturday, with Gardner Minshew. If he comes in and he's like really does a good job and they win, people going to say, wait a minute, maybe Hurts is really overrated. So coming back to the running back issue, how much is it Sanders and how much is it the line? And I don't think anything happens in a vacuum, right? A couple of weeks ago when that guy from ESPN, McShay, he came out with that, mock draft, and he put out running back Bijan Robinson from Texas. Where did that come from? I mean, obviously, there's something's going on that he mentioned that name, like of all the position players, right? So I think basically that whatever reason, maybe they're not really big on him and they're not willing to put up the big money that he's going to, ask for come next year.
All right, I agree. I agree. They're pretty much telling you they're going to go another direction with the running back spot.
yeah,
It's tough to pay a running back a lot of money too, especially when Hurts is going to get paid, and you got to really watch who you're going to pay.
yeah. And the Eagles really aren't. They're not known for playing linebackers. They're not known for playing running backs. I mean, that's just kind of how it's been. But I look at Miles Sanders, and he just looks like that kind of back that can break a huge play at any moment. And that's kind of what you want out of a back. I mean, you can get like a second back to be like a bruiser, to get like 3-4 yards consistently every time. But Miles Sanders seems to me as like that game breaking talent. Like, you can put the ball in his hands and he can break one for you like at any time. And that's why I feel like he's really valuable. And I mean, just think about this. We haven't talked about it yet, but now Jalen Hurts is hurt. And why is he hurt? He's running the ball way too much. He ran the ball 17 times. When you got this guy who's already over 1,000 yards, why aren't we using him? Why are we putting our quarterback in risk? And I know I've hated Jalen Hurts for most of the season, but I like him now. He's won me over. I mean, he's done everything he can. Every question that I have, he's answered. But now he's hurt. And I've said it before, running quarterbacks always get hurt. So what is Steichen doing to help out, the game plan to not put him in, this type of situation where, he's getting hurt. I mean, what do you guys think about Steichen's game plan going into this week, opposed to knowing that the Bears have a really weak defense against the run?
Well, I think what happened is that they were looking ahead to the Dallas game, because the thing is that if you look at the stats, obviously the Bears are ranked 21st against the run, but 11 against the pass, right? But probably they were aware of the weather forecast, so they said, okay, we're going to put everybody in the box, and we dare you to run against us. And I guess probably at the beginning they realized they cannot run. They start throwing the ball, knowing that it wasn't really the best thing to do anyway. And I think probably it was more like, I wouldn't say panic mode, but probably like improvise as you go type of a deal. And because you have so much talent, they end up winning. But if it was closer, probably they would end up losing the game, because I don't think they're really prepared for that windy, -3 degrees Fahrenheit temperature. And that's a fact of life in Chicago, right? So I think probably it was on the coaching staff.
Yeah.
No, I agree. Credit to them though. Chicago obviously is rebuilding still. They're not an elite team, but they pulled out another W. And the defense held them in long enough to get the offense rolling, and here we are, 12-1. It's pretty remarkable, but we're still sitting, right?
Mm-hmm.
If you told me the Eagles are going to be 12-1, 3 months ago, I would have said you're crazy.
Well, I feel like I'm crazy that I'm questioning our offensive play calling, because we're 13-1. It's like, how the heck did we get here? When I'm looking at the game, and it's like, I don't know about you guys, but this game plan for this week just didn't make any sense. It seemed like we were trying to throw the ball down the field early, and Jalen Hurts was either making bad decisions or it was the wind. I don't know what it was, but it just didn't make sense for. We know the Bears aren't good against the run. Why aren't we attacking them with Miles Sanders? We're trying to go through the air on a, like Vahe said, it was a really, like, the weather played a huge impact in this game that it almost felt like, I don't know if our coaching staff is inexperienced to
Probably that's what happened. Yep.
yeah, it didn't make any sense really what we were doing. And you're probably right, Vahe. They were probably looking ahead to Dallas and thinking like, all right, we can just win this game based on just talent, which is exactly what they did. They won on talent. So I mean, that's just how I felt.
And thank God that the quarterback didn't get hurt big time. If he was really serious, oh my God, everybody would be like really pissed off big time.
Yes.
So
let's talk about that though. So now Jalen Hurts, he's got a sprain in his shoulder. It's looking like he's going to miss this week. They haven't completely ruled him out, but a lot of talk from all the main media guys that cover the team. They're thinking that he's going to be back for the playoffs. So the fan base as a whole and all of us, we're kind of like up there. We don't really know what exactly going on. What do you guys think?
well, I heard somewhere they said it's a grade 1 strain. So usually if you look on Google, I guess I'm not a doctor, so they say probably
give us the doctor's advice.
maybe it's like a week or two, healing process. But it's ironically, yesterday the line went up to -6, Dallas being favored by 6, right? So today, when they're talking about he might come back, now the line is down to 5. So nobody knows. Everybody's like hedging their bets because they don't know what's going to happen.
You could honestly actually see, because they were talking about it on 94.1. One of the guys, I think it was Fritz, was watching the line during like the Monday afternoon show, and it was literally like right away it went from, what was it, -1 Vahe, and it went straight to -3. Or
no, it went -1, open -1, then it was 1.5, then became 2.5, and then it became like 5. And I'm saying, wait a minute, what's going on? Somebody must be hurt, because obviously you don't get that kind of jump in the line just like that, right? So then they came out that basically Hurts is hurt. And it went up to -6. Now, I mean, before the show, I checked in, I think it was down to 5. And they think basically, he could come back and play, because apparently he really wants to play against Dallas. And, he will try if he can.
Yeah.
But I think that even if Minshew comes in, I think he's like really inspired to show everybody, because he's going to be a free agent, that basically he's worthy of a starting role somewhere else. And I think he got an excuse today going to his coach's funeral or viewing, and probably that's going to be another. Yeah, today they had a walkthrough and they didn't have a quarterback. The Eagles.
I didn't hear about this one.
Do you guys think there's any way that if this was a more like they have a 3-game league, correct? It's 3 games, right? For the division.
Yeah, but the thing is that they don't have with Dallas, because they have against in the division, it's head to head, obviously.
Yeah.
If they lose, right, then it's going to be the second tiebreaker is going to be the division. So they're going to have one more loss in the division. So they cannot finish the same record as Dallas. They have to be one up.
I think they have to win 1 game.
That's correct.
Out of these next
3, and they clinch.
Either that or Dallas and the Vikings and San Fran, they have to lose 1 game.
They're still in a really, really good spot. I mean, they would have to like we said, they have to go on a 2 or 3 game losing streak to cough anything up. And I don't see that happening. I don't know if you guys see that. Like, we definitely need to beat the Saints the following week.
Yeah.
For pick purposes, but
well, let's think about this. So, I mean, I guess we're really gonna find out from Micah Parsons. Is it Hurts or is it the system? I guess we'll find that out this week. if Hurts doesn't play. But let me ask you guys, do you guys think it's more important that he plays this week against Dallas or next week against the Saints?
The Saints.
Yeah, I think if you say like, and it's less tape Dallas has on them, playing against them.
I think it was so funny. Yesterday, I was driving up to Fordham to pick up my daughter to bring her home for the winter break, and I was listening to NFL Network. No, it was ESPN, and they had Michael Greenberg on it, and he was saying that basically it's better for the Eagles to keep Hurts out this Saturday. It was before the injury, whatever. He was saying that even then, he said keep him out because that way Dallas cannot basically figure out what's going to be the game plan come the playoffs. Right. And also, it's more important for him to play against the Saints. That way, you get the win that you need for your bye. Plus, you make sure that the Saints, they don't win that division, the NFC South, because that division sucks so bad that anyone can win it. It's like with 7 or 8 wins.
They're 5-8 and still in it, right?
Yeah. Because Brady is like 6-8 or something like that.
Yeah, it's unreal.
Yeah, and imagine if the Saints win and they make the playoffs. I mean, our draft pick's going to be in the 20s when it goes to like 5-6. I mean, that's a huge game next week.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, and this is kind of what I think. So the Eagles play Dallas this week. It's extremely, extremely hard to beat a team in the division 3 times. So I almost kind of want Minshew to play because let's say we lose or let's say we win. Let's say we win this game. Dallas isn't going to be ready for Hurts again in the playoffs. And in all realistic, I mean, we're probably going to play Dallas our first playoff game because they're pretty much locked into the 5th seed. So I don't see us playing any other team besides Dallas. So playing them 3 times in 1 year is going to be extremely tough. It's almost like a blessing in disguise if we could throw Minshew out there for a week so they can't have a game plan for when we play them in the playoffs, which is,
I agree 100%. I agree 100% with that. Like, hold them out. They have no game film on them. They can't game plan for them. And like you said, it's tough to beat a team 3 times in 1 year, especially a division-wide rival.
Now, what do you guys think? Do you think Minshew has what it takes? Do you think he has the team around him and the tools around him to maybe pull this game off this week?
I honestly think that he can come in and win the game because Dallas is not really playing that well, and that their defense, they're supposed to be really good, but I don't know, they gave up like 40 points, and to the Jacksonville Jaguars, right? So I don't know. I mean, I can very easily see them going down there and win. I mean, I think they could easily win because of the circumstances. The whole thing is building up to it, the trashing that Parsons did, is it a team? Is it, Hurts type of a deal? And so I wouldn't be surprised if they win.
Do you think Dallas was looking forward to the Eagle game too?
Yeah, I think so too. I
just think it's going to be it's the 3rd game on the road in a row. I think it's going to be a very tough game for them.
Yeah.
I think they got beat up pretty bad against the Bears because I was looking at the Bears and I said, damn, I mean, do they have like a top 5 defense? I mean, they couldn't do shit, right?
Yeah, what was all that?
And I'm saying, wow, where's this defense coming? Is it like the 84 defense? Like
you think
defense?
Like we talked about earlier, do you think it was like the coaches panicked because the original game plan wasn't working and then they had to adjust?
I was like, I did to go back and look at the stats and say, where does this, Bears defense come from? They couldn't do nothing at the beginning. Right? They were all over the place.
I honestly think that this was going to be the trap game, and they overlooked it because Dallas was such a huge game this week. And they called a break because Dallas lost to Jacksonville.
Yeah, that was awesome.
Oh my God, so happy. Was that like the greatest overtime ever?
What?
Is Dak one of the most overrated QBs this year with how many picks he's been throwing?
I'm not a fan of him at all.
I don't know. They have been struggling on defense, and Dak has just been turning the ball over left and right. That I'm shocked that they have as many wins as they do.
Right. And they would face Tampa in the playoffs, correct? They're probably going to face Tampa, right?
Tampa.
So I mean, like Tampa beat them week 1, I'm pretty sure, but like, I mean, Tampa could beat them again. So we're thinking about playing Dallas. Like, I hear you. I agree. We could be playing Dallas, but like, let's not sleep on Tampa. I mean, like, what has Dallas really done in the playoffs? They haven't done anything.
Listen,
and they're going up against the GOAT, maybe, and in the wild card round.
Could any of us really doubt Tom Brady anymore? Like in the playoffs?
I would never bet against Brady, right? Like,
yeah, but I think again, I mean, is it the person or the system? I mean, in that case, Tampa, they have so many holes in the system that he cannot do it by himself anymore, and he's getting old too.
They look, I mean, brutal. What did the Bengals do? Put up 31 straight on them in the second half, and I mean, Brady got picked twice.
I think Bengals going to go to the Super Bowl, man. I mean, everybody keeps talking about Buffalo. I think Cincinnati is going to go to the Super Bowl. I mean, that team is really legit.
Burrows is, getting himself into the MVP talk. Last time I looked, I think it was Hurts, Mahomes, and then Burrows 3, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. Yeah, Vahe, that's exactly how I felt after this week. I felt like the Bengals were they did the same thing last year where they had a slow start and then they just went on a roll. And you could just see it. Like, Burrow is just ridiculous, and they are just beating up teams.
Yeah, they beat Kansas City 3 times in a row. I think it's the first time Mahomes has lost to an opposing quarterback, 3 straight times.
Not to this Hurts. Can you imagine if Burrows was our quarterback? It would be like locked. Super Bowl, no way. I mean, nobody else is winning. The Vegas books would be closed and said, "We're not taking no bets on this thing." I mean, that would be like so lopsided. I mean,
it's a wrap, right?
Oh man, with this defense, this line. I mean, last year they lost because of the line. The Bengals. Can you imagine if he was playing against our system? With our line and our wide receivers and our defense. Oh man.
Let's get to that. AJ Brown had 9 catches for 181 yards, and Devontae Smith had 5 catches for 126. AJ Brown's over 1,000. Smith is creeping up quick. Is this the best 2 receivers the Eagles have ever had in history?
Yes.
Without a doubt. Without a doubt, right? Without a doubt. I mean, some of those catches Devontae made, even AJ last week, were incredible. The over the shoulders, staying in bounds, they were big-time plays. And Devontae's still on a rookie contract for 3 more years, correct?
Yeah.
So that's huge for them. That's huge. And
that's why, I mean,
Goddard just got activated.
You're right.
Correct?
I agree. I mean, the thing is, as a matter of fact, if you go back to Andy Reid era, right, they only had 1 year when obviously they had the T.O. Other than that, they only had average wide receivers for Donovan McNabb. And the year that they had T.O., they went to the Super Bowl. Yes, you're right. This is probably the best duo of wide receiver they ever had.
I mean, have they ever had 2 receivers go over 1,000 yards in their history, both? Like,
did T.O. go over 1,000 yards when he played?
T.O. definitely did.
Oh, yeah, T.O. did.
In 2004, right? Was it 2004?
Yeah, 2004 that was. He definitely did. But did they ever have 2 receivers do it?
Who was playing opposite T.O.? Do you guys remember?
It was Pigston, wasn't it? Pigston and Freddie Mitchell.
Todd Pigston?
Pigston and Freddie Mitchell, right? It was
Freddie Mitchell, first down Freddie.
Oh, Freddie.
No, I'm trying, maybe, but remember when they had Chip Kelly's first year? Maybe Deshaun, and was it Jordan Matthews?
Jordan Matthews wasn't that good.
But he had the 1 year where he put up really good numbers, but I don't remember.
They had Deshaun and Macklin, but I don't think they.
Macklin, yeah.
Deshaun Macklin. Yeah, you're right.
Exactly.
Matthews, I don't think ever went over 1,000. He always stopped at like 940 yards, where he was just under.
Yep. But I mean, like we said before, their offense is like a video game playing. It's fun to watch. Like it's.
Now I want to go a little to the defense, and I want to ask Vahe this question because I know he's been a huge supporter of Jonathan Gannon. Is Jonathan Gannon one of the best defensive coaches this year?
I'm really shocked. I mean, right now, if you look at the rating wise, our defense is ranked number 1 or maybe at worst number 2. And I don't know how he's doing it because he's not blitzing 90% of the time. So I don't know how he's getting all those sacks without even blitzing. So I think what changed was obviously Jordan Davis came back, and there's getting those 2 guys off free agency in the middle, right? With Sue and what's the other guy's name?
And Lynn Bell Joseph.
And
Yes, Joseph and Sue, and then they gave opportunity for the other guys to just lower their snap count, and I think that made a difference. But I'm really shocked. I wanted him fired like 3 weeks ago.
do you
But-
think a lot has to do with that they're pretty much in control of most games?
They weren't in control of the Bears game.
Well, I know the Bears game, but like most of the games are pretty much in control of, right? You would think, besides the Colts game.
I think it's like there's a different type of defense than what a lot of us are used to, where there's like Jim Johnson, there's blitz in every play, and you're getting a lot of pressure and a lot of sacks. A lot of the good defenses in the league right now, they're not blitzing a lot. It's more just like, 4 guys rushing the ball with like some stunts. And I really do think Sue and Joseph are huge to this defense's success, because Cox is getting a lot of rest now and he's able to actually be productive. We have it looks like we have a chance to have 4 rushers with over 10 sacks.
Yeah, is
Has
that
that
incredible?
ever happened for the Eagles?
I can't even remember the gang green defense. Bahe may know better, but I don't know.
I mean, look at Josh Sweat. Josh Sweat's been outstanding the last few months.
Reddick, look at Reddick, dude. He's been a stud. He's been a stud.
Oh yeah. Obviously. He had like 3 sacks last week, right?
Yeah, I think at least 2. He might have had 3. At least 2 he had. And even BG's playing really well. He's got, 8.5 this year?
8.5. So he needs another sack and a half to reach 10 for the first time in his career. And I'm telling you, if the Eagles even clinch this week, he's not going to be sitting. He's going to want to go out there and get 10 sacks for the first time in his career. I guarantee you, he's not going to want to rest.
The interesting part about this Saturday, let's say Gardner Minshew goes in and he plays lights out, right? What happens to the MVP story of what Jalen Hurts? And because you're going to enemy territory, like it's going to be the prime time. It's the prime time of the prime time game. Everybody has this game circled on their calendar. NFL president, vice president, everybody, right? Everybody's going to be watching this game. And now we know that most probably Hurts going to be out. If Gardner Minshew with this team goes down to Dallas and then beat them, right? So maybe it's the team. It's not the quarterback, right? Because obviously Gardner Minshew is not good enough to be a starter. He's the backup quarterback, right? If the backup quarterback can win in Dallas when Dallas desperately wants this game, then maybe Hurts is not the MVP. Maybe Burrow is the MVP, right? I'm just throwing that out there.
You can almost see it coming. You're standing on the railroad track and the train's coming right to you. That's exactly what it looks like. But listen,
I mean, Goddard's coming back. Dallas Goddard's going to be back, right? Yeah. So apparently he's a very good chemistry with Minshew, right? So you got the running back, and everybody's obviously going to be hyped for this game, right? So he could.
Listen, Hurts has done everything that every person had questions on him. He's overcome everything that anybody's thought of him this year. Every single doubter, if you're still doubting, you're as crazy as I was last week. But
no. I think I'm not saying that. I like the guy as a person. I think he's an excellent person. I mean, as a matter of fact, I was looking at his background. So the thing is that his agent is a woman. His team is made up of women. So the guy is really, really stand-up guy, and he's a really, leader. I'm glad we have him as a quarterback. We're not discussing that part. We're discussing whether he's the MVP of the team. And right now, everybody's saying he's the MVP of the team, right? Parsons says maybe he's not. He's the team. Maybe the team is basically, you have so much weapons on that team, right? So Gardner Minshew, if he goes in there and then wins it, there's nothing against against Hurts. Just the question basically is that, is he that much valuable to this team with the weapons that they have to make him MVP versus, Patrick Mahomes or Joe Barrow or even Josh Allen, right? That's the discussion. We're not saying that he's a bad guy. We're just saying that, is he the MVP if Minshew does the same thing and win in Dallas?
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. If Minshew goes out there and wins, there's going to be some real questions. I mean, it's going to depend how he wins. Let's put it out there. It's definitely going to depend how he wins. But if he does win and he looks good, which Minshew has done good in this league. He has had success with much worse. This is definitely, I would say this is probably the best team that Minshew's ever going to play with. So I mean, we're definitely going to see. I mean, I don't see any way possible besides Minshew losing how this might not affect Hurts's MVP status. But I don't know. I mean, I'm not getting back on the Minshew train, Bahe. I'll tell you that. I am.
No, it's not. No, it's not a matter of getting on or off the train. I'm just saying that in one situation, we're not discussing whether Minshew is as good as Hurts. What we're saying basically is the team has so much talent on those, on those critical positions that to a certain extent, you don't need to be an MVP caliber quarterback to win with this team. That's what I'm saying. I'm not saying that basically is that, Minshew is better than Hurts or not. All I'm saying is basically you have so much talent on this team that all you need is a good quarterback and that takes you to the promised land. Doesn't have to be an MVP caliber quarterback to take you to the promised land.
Yeah. So I want to ask one more question before we get into Dallas.
Because, going back. I mean, we all agree that Joe Barrow, right, on this team, he will take us to the Super Bowl, right? I mean, nobody's questioning that part, right?
Yeah.
Same thing with Patrick Mahomes, right? We could even say about Josh Allen probably is going to Super Bowl. Maybe Josh Allen, right? Maybe even Tom Brady, right? Put Tom Brady in this system where you have he will have tons of time to throw the ball. With those wide receivers, maybe he can take them to the Super Bowl. So the question becomes basically that if you can remove the super quarterback and put one of the top level quarterback and you get the same kind of a result, maybe he's not the super MVP. Because if some other people can do the same thing that he's doing, then he's not an MVP.
Yeah.
Because MVP, you have to make the difference maker. But if everybody can do the same, not everybody, a couple of other people could do the same thing, then you're not an MVP caliber quarterback.
Well, that's what made me think earlier, Bahe. I mean, the reason I didn't, like Hurts at first was because he's running the ball too much. He looks like a running back, and now he's hurt. And you're going to pay him all this money. Like, he's going to get top dollar this year, regardless of if he's hurt right now, because he's already earned it. So he's going to get paid top dollar. Is he going to be able to stay healthy for his career? And that's what we need, because we need him in there week after week so we can win a Super Bowl. Because that's the goal. So after this injury, I mean, it does put doubt into your head. And I threw this by Armin earlier today at work. Let's say Minshew goes out there and lights it up, and let's say he's thrown for 2-3 touchdowns a game. I said 400 yards to Armin, but let's say he does 350 and he's throwing 2 to 3 touchdowns a game, and the team looks great. I mean, are we going to pay Hurts this top money when you already know that Minshew can do it?
Well, you're stuck with paying him some money, and I don't know whether it's exactly. But if Minshew goes down there and lights up, then you're going to have a Sirianni being Coach of the Year conversation, because obviously he's the coach, right? And maybe Howie being General Manager of the Year award, because he put the team together, and Sirianni is coaching the team. So this game is so interesting because there's so many things can happen, right? And has implications. If Minshew looks really, really good, then maybe Hurts not an MVP. If Minshew really good, maybe Sirianni should be the Coach of the Year, right? Or maybe Howie, the way he structured this team. I mean, it's so interesting.
Could you imagine we're talking about Howie, about 6 months after we were asking for him to be fired.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's crazy. And now he's got big decisions to make this off season too. Like he's got to figure out what they're going to pay Hurts and how much, and he's got decisions to make on a lot of decisions to make on the defense. And we really don't know what the O-line might look like come next year. At least we got replacements. You know,
Oh yeah, I mean the line.
we
is
got
more-
guys waiting, so that's a good thing. But
Uh,
he's done an outstanding job. And I mean, what move has he made that's been wrong? Nothing.
no,
Right.
he's been the best GM I feel like in the city.
It's
when it
unreal
comes
what
to
he's done.
making transactions. I mean, it's pretty impressive that how it seems like every time when we want him fired and we're just like, what the heck is this guy doing? He's paying all these guys ridiculous amounts of money and they're washed up. He still puts out an outstanding team, and we're looking at them like, oh my God, they might actually have a chance at a Super Bowl, and that's pretty impressive.
Yep.
But let's go to the defensive side a little bit before we get into defense. I mean, into the Cowboys next week. What do you guys think about Kayvon Wallace? Could he possibly, play himself into a starting position next year? He led the team. Well, he didn't lead the team. He led the team in solo tackles, but he had 8 total tackles.
Yeah, I mean everybody thought that's going to be the weakest link. Yeah, but obviously he's like stepping up. So I'm really impressed. I mean, everybody, whoever comes in, they're stepping up. Either maybe it's the system, maybe it's the guy.
He played well against the Giants too. He played well when he came in.
Yeah, I mean he just looks like he's such a physical guy that needs to come up like a Malcolm Jenkins and play the run. But he was playing well in the passing game too. But he had 7 solo tackles, 8 with assists. The only guy that had more tackles than him was TJ Edwards, and Edwards has been outstanding all year. But Vahe is right. Like we thought going into this game, the weakest link was going to be Kayvon Wallace, and he was just outstanding. And you're looking at the off season, and Garner Johnson, he could be gone. Could this be the replacement for the Eagles? I don't know. He looked good yesterday, or Sunday.
Well, plus you had that kid, like the undrafted free agent kid who was hurt a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah.
What's his name? I forgot.
Look, we already forgot his name.
No, no, but he could be back next week, right? I mean, so we'll see. I tell you another thing: if they're gonna win the Super Bowl, it's gonna be based on the defense. Seriously,
and your boy's going to get he's going to be here next year. He's going to get a head coach.
If the Eagles win the Super Bowl and it's based on the defense, Vahe is going to come on the podcast and be like, "There's no way we can give Gannon a head coaching job. He has to stay here."
Exactly. No, I'm serious. I mean, the defense shutting down, left and right. So that could be like, because I know you cannot get into a shootout with Joe Barrow or Patrick Mahomes. I mean, I don't think you can do that. So you have to slow the game down. And the only way you're going to slow it down basically by keeping the ball in your hand and then keeping the defense, not allowing them to score, points. I think that's the only way.
And that's kind of why, let's get into Dallas. I feel like we have a good shot this week because our defense is playing out of their mind, and the Cowboys are struggling. They're struggling stopping anybody. They're letting up a lot of points to weak teams like the Texans and the Jaguars. Mm-hmm. And the offense, Dak Prescott's turning the ball over a lot. He's making a lot of poor decisions, and let's just Slay and Bradbury are waiting for picks. They're due for picks. So I'm expecting Dak to throw like 2 of them this week. But again, like our defensive line it's something that I haven't seen probably in my entire life. I've never seen a team get as many sacks as they do each week, and it's crazy to see, and it's exciting to see. So that's why I feel like I think we got a shot this week. What do you guys think about Dallas? What do you think their strengths are? What do you think their weaknesses are? How do you think we stack up?
We definitely have a shot. It's going to be a big test for the defense, I think, with Pollard and Zeke. They like to run the ball and pound the ball. Again, it's on the road, third game in a row. I think it's going to be a tough game for them. I really, really do. I think Dallas is fired up because Eagles beat them last time, and I don't know. We'll see. It could be a nice preview to the division round playoff game. I mean, I'm jumping ahead a little bit. That's what I'm hoping for. I was just saying that all week of work. Like, could you imagine what it'd be like division round, Dallas in the playoffs, coming to Philly? Like, it would be insane. That
would be crazy. There hasn't been a game that big in years, and we thought that this week was going to be that game. But
and it doesn't.
Questions.
It looked like it was going to be a big game in the first half when Dallas was up 21-7, and I think we were down 7-3 or whatever. Like, we better win this because that Dallas game could be for the division. And then what do you know? Like, we pull it out and Dallas loses to Jacksonville and our old boy Dougie P.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I mean, obviously, I don't live in Dallas, so I don't know what's going on. But like the red flags, I mean, how can you barely beat the Texans? Texans like 1-14, right? Or 13.
And they
1-13. And they could have won. I mean, the Texans could have won that game. I mean, it was like on the 1 yard line. All they had to do was score a touchdown and the game is over, right? So, I mean, that's one red flag. And then go down to, Jacksonville and lose to Jacksonville. I mean, something is wrong. I mean, you don't just lose 2 games. I mean, not lose. I mean, the first game you barely win against a 1-13 team. The second one you lose. I mean, those are red flags. I don't know what's going on, but I mean, those are not really comforting. I know everybody says a win is a win. Okay, I get that part. But the thing is that you win, but there's red flags, so you cannot just ignore it, right?
They've lost Van Der Esch. I don't know for how long.
Oh, he's out? Oh.
He's out. So that's one of their issues right there. They're having trouble stopping the run. And what I think this week, because Jerry Jones pointed back to it maybe like 5 or 6 weeks ago, they said, or his old self said, the Eagles, they're great in the second quarter, but if you slow the game down, they can't do anything in the second half, and you can kind of, take the game over. And that's exactly what Washington did to us. So I think they're going to have the same game plan this week, but the Eagles.
I didn't know that Van Der Esch was out. Van Der Esch is with trouble for the Eagles for whatever reason. Him and before him there was another guy who retired and he used to always give a tough time for the Eagles. It was another linebacker. He was very, very fast too, but he was always getting hurt. I forgot his name, and he eventually.
Yeah, I can't remember. I know you're talking about. It was him. I can't remember that guy's name, but I know you're talking about. And then the offensive side of the ball, Jason Witten always hurt them.
Yeah.
But I can't remember. I know who you're talking about. It's slipping my tongue, the linebacker's name.
Yeah, and then it was like so amazing. He would be hurt for like a couple of plays, and then the Eagles would get a first down, and he would come back, and then they get bogged down again. And then Van Der Esch was another one. I didn't know that he was out, but he used to give a heart for whatever reason. He was like really the Eagles didn't match up well against him.
Yeah, so they originally thought that he had like a neck injury. An MRI came out. He had a shoulder stinger. And he's expected to miss time, so he's going to be inactive this week. So we won't have to, deal with him. Which, I mean, it should help Minshew out because I can't see us going out there and trying to throw right away. I feel like we're going to use Miles Sanders a lot more this week and kind of slow the game down for Dallas. So it should work in our advantage. But yeah, Van Der Esch is most likely going to be out this week.
Interesting.
So, all right. So let's get into our predictions. Armin said that Jimmy won last week.
Yes, he did.
I don't know how. I'm so done with these predictions. I don't know who's keeping score. Armin doesn't.
Everybody's keeping score. What do you mean? Even my son was keeping score, and he thought he won. I said, no. It's the point differential.
Every single week, Armin's like, oh, so Vahe's got 4, Jimmy's got 5, and then Vahe's like, oh, no, that's not right. That's not right. Who's keeping score of these predictions?
Oh, Armin has keeping score.
Well, he's messing them up every week.
No,
Oh,
he's the lead. I think he has 5 wins, right? He had 5 wins,
Indeed.
and me and
Yeah.
Jimmy, we had 4 wins, and I think you had 1 or 2 wins, right? So
I got 1. I know I got
yeah.
1.
So Jimmy's going to be 5. He's going to be tied with Armin. So
Alright.
5-5. I'm 4, and you're 1, 15, right? Because we had 1 extra because Armin had double points for like correctly predicting the exact outcome of the game.
I got you. All right. So let's see, Jimmy.
So our picks. So what's the name? Armin already picked, right? What did he pick?
Did he give us a score?
Yeah, he did.
Did he? I didn't even say it.
I thought he did. I thought he texted us his score.
Nah. I'll text him while you guys pick. So Jimmy, what are you thinking?
I hate to say it, but I think Dallas is going to win 27-23.
27-23.
In a way, I hope. I just think it's. I don't know. I just got a bad feeling. It's the 3rd road game in a row, and I think Dallas is going to be a little fired up for it. And I think not having Hurts, could be the difference. Plus, I'd rather see him lose in the regular season than later on versus Dallas. I think it's definitely tough to beat a team 3 times if we were to face them in the playoffs. And I think part of the reason, like, they may be thinking ahead, like, maybe we can afford to rest Hurts this week and not show Dallas anything in case we do see them later on down the line. But what do I know? I thought they were going to be 9-8 this year, so it shows what I know. I don't know anything.
Jimmy, we were all wrong on predictions.
I don't know anything.
All right, Armenian Hammer, what do you got?
So the line is down to 5. I mean, I think the Eagles going to win, and not because they really want to win, but because I think Gardner Minshew is playing for his next starting quarterback contract, and he's going to come in and show everybody that basically he's worthy of that. Plus, he's inspired by by what happened. Apparently, he was at his coach's funeral today, and he was talking about how much instrumental that person was in his life. The guy that passed away last week, he was a Washington State head coach. Leach, right? And he was like really moved by that. And I think this is going to be his opportunity to come in and then, inspired to demonstrate that, he's worthy of being a head starting quarterback. So initially I thought maybe it's going to be definitely Dallas win, but right now I'm hedging my bet. I think I can see the Eagles easily winning 24-21.
All right. I mean, I'm actually disappointed a little bit in Jimmy because I thought he had Gardner Minshew with me. I thought we were going to ride Gardner Minshew to the end of the year until we can get Jalen Hurts out of here, even though he's completely just exceeded all our expectations. And I'm totally supporting Jalen Hurts from now on, even if Minshew has a great game. But I think this Eagles team is like 2017, where there's just so much talent all around this team that they're going to find a way to win. And I feel like the defense this week is going to be so fired up because it's Christmas Eve. They know it's a big game, and they're looking at themselves in the mirror and saying, oh, they think we're going to lose because Jalen Hurts isn't in here. They're going to take this game over, and they're going to destroy Dallas. 2 picks, another 6 sacks. They're going to go off. And I'm fired up. It's Dallas week. It's Christmas. I think Eagles win 34-14.
Wow.
Could you imagine this city if they won with Minshew 34-13? This city would go nuts. Could you? Oh, I could imagine what the radio would be like.
All I gotta say is,
they'd be saying we don't.
If
could you
Minshew
imagine
has
what the
a
radio?
great game, Armin needs to grow a stash, just like Gardner Minshew.
Oh, could you imagine that though? They blew the doors off them like that in Dallas,
Listen,
and Minshew threw for like 300 yards, a couple touchdowns, and
Jimmy, you look at this team. Has this team showed you anything other than, all right, you think Jalen Hurts is great, but this team is just talented. They're flat
it's
out
all
talented.
over. It's
all over the place.
It's amazing how
You can
deep
put
they
a
are.
I think you could put a quarterback in, and Minshew showed you enough that he could do it with his legs. He can run the ball too. I mean, he can pass the ball too. The team is. They got AJ Brown and Devonta Smith.
And you don't even talk about
they're
the tight
getting
end.
Goddard back, and now they might actually use Miles Sanders.
Yeah.
Just because maybe the coordinator's afraid that Minshew's not as good as Hurts, that they're going to use Miles Sanders. This offense is going to be more dangerous this week, and I don't mean that is as in more dangerous without Hurts, but just this week in particular because of the unknown.
Mm-hmm.
And they have arguably the best offensive line in the league.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
yeah,
it's unreal. We just, we got to enjoy this because this doesn't happen too often around here. Seasons like this, we look for things to complain about.
Yep, exactly.
Yep. All right. Well, it's Dallas week. Let's be fired up. It's an exciting week. Let's get this win. You guys have any last comments on the team or anything? Any thoughts?
Looking forward to the game.
Christmas Dallas Eve. And Christmas. Let's go. Fired up. Fired up. Really, like it's a great time. It really is. It's a great time to be an Eagle fan. It's a great time of the year right now. Like, just enjoy everything right now.
Exactly.
All right. So that wraps up our episode with Flying High with the Birds. Let's go Eagles. Everybody have a Merry Christmas. I'll talk to you guys next week.
Have a great Christmas, guys.
Yep, same everybody.
See you, fellas. Go Birds.
Yep.
Yeah.